Hello everyone, my name is Holden Hardman. Thank you so much for joining us again for another video, and happy Valentine's Day. For Valentine's Day today, I really wanted to show my wife the movie Big Fish, directed by Tim Burton. It is one of my favorite movies. It's a wonderful story about a father and a son. It's also a wonderful love story about a guy named Edward Bloom and Sandra Templeton. It's a fantastic movie. We're filming a little out of order today because as of filming this, Jen has already seen it. And the reason I wanted to do that is because I wanted to come here to the actual filming location of Spectre. This is one of the main shooting locations in the film. It goes through a couple of revamps. At the beginning, it's really, really nice and lush, and then it becomes kind of broken down and distorted, and then it finally ends with Edward Bloom buying up the property and kind of fixing it up. The film set is still here, and we're going to explore a little bit of it after the movie, after the reaction, so stick around for that. If there's ever a time for you to stick around for our post-discussion, it would be this video. And I'm so excited for Jen to watch it, so let's go ahead and get into it. Big Fish. As of filming this, we have not done the intro or the outro. I'm saving that for when we go to Spectre, but I'm really looking forward to you watching this one. I think you'll enjoy this one a lot. It's Tim Burton. It's very unique. Mix of like a father and son story. It's got a really great central romance story, which is why we're doing it for Valentine's Day. And it's just a good time.
Why do they call it Big Fish?
You'll see. That's part of the journey. Who's to say? Merch down in the description below, by the way. Okay, happy Valentine. All right, play. The scenes that take place in the United States are all filmed in Alabama, Wetumpka, which is about 2.5 hours away from where we live. We're literally more south than Wetumpka, Alabama.
Really?
Yeah, we're further south than Alabama.
Oh, is it a fish?
Yeah, it's a big fish.
A fish.
Oh yeah, had the perfect time. It's a fish, sure, it's available in the link below, okay.
There are some fish that cannot be caught. It's not that they're faster or stronger than other fish. They're just touched by something extra.
Ewan McGregor.
Hello there. By the time I was born, he was already a legend.
I don't even know what this guy like naturally sounds like anymore.
He's Scottish.
Some said that fish was the ghost of the thief who drowned in that river 60 years before. And all I knew was I'd been trying to catch that fish since I was a boy no bigger than you. And on the day you were born, that was the day I finally caught him. Tied my ring onto the strongest line they made. Strong enough to hold up a bridge, they said.
The beast jumped up and grabbed it before he even hit the water. Tom was now lost in the gut of an uncatchable fish. It was fat with eggs.
Oh wow, there's a lot of big people in this movie.
Yeah.
I was in a situation.
He was in Aaron Brockovich.
Killing the smartest captain
He was the attorney.
in the Ashton River.
Oh, darling, it's still your night.
Why did it strike? Sometimes the only way to catch an uncatchable woman is to offer her a wedding ring.
Have you seen Almost Famous?
I know every punchline, Dad. I can tell him as well as you can. You're embarrassing yourself, Dad. You just don't see it.
Aw.
I didn't speak to my father again for 3 years.
Wow.
When I'd call, my mom would say Dad was out driving or swimming in the pool. I didn't see anything of myself in my father. I don't think he saw anything of himself in me.
Aw.
We were like strangers who knew each other very well. In telling the story of my father's life, it's impossible to separate fact from fiction.
Look at Obi-Wan. Wow, that is a big fish.
There's always a bigger fish.
Oh my goodness.
Looks like Boston.
That's what kind of story this is.
He had to work with a dialect coach, him and older Edward Bloom. Whoa. There's Hero.
What?
Oh, that's a cute baby.
They're gonna stop chemo.
Oh.
You need to go.
Now, which one's it gonna be?
I thought that was actually the dog.
Or Dog Road? Your mama says I can't tell you that one anymore.
This isn't me and Fox.
I'm not scared.
This took place in the swamp outside of Ashton. Me, Ruthie,
Oh,
Wilbur Freeland.
that was incidental. Miley Cyrus, her first anything, really.
Not one
I think she's still credited as Destiny Cyrus in this.
Destiny?
Yeah.
have a wit.
Was that her original name or something?
Yeah.
Your mama's a bitch. Please, present.
Yet of all the witches in Alabama, he had one glass eye which was said to contain mystical power.
Oh yeah.
Edward, don't.
Edward Down.
She'll make soap out of you.
Oh boy.
Oh, Helena Bonham Carter.
She's Tim Burton's wife.
Yes. Is she still his wife?
You get the eye?
Whoa. Jeez.
On one hand, if that was all you thought about, kind of help you. Because everything else, you know you could survive. I'd like to know. Huh. That's how I go.
They did a good job making her look old.
It's 7 months.
To the day.
It's a boy.
We actually wanted that to be a surprise.
Dad?
You are in for a surprise. Having a kid changes everything. He spent years trying to corrupt and mislead this child, till it turns out perfectly fine.
You think I'm up for it?
Not my time yet. This is not how I go. I saw my death in that eye, and this isn't how it happens. Surprise ending. Wouldn't want to ruin it for you.
I just want to know the true versions of things, events, stories.
Dying is the worst thing that's ever happened to me.
I thought you said you weren't dying.
I said, this isn't how I go.
Dr. Bennett said I have to stay at home for a week.
Aw.
Once I had to stay in bed for 3 years. Most times a person grows up gradually. Well, I found myself in a hurry. My muscles and my bones couldn't keep up with my body's ambition.
This is such a Tim Burton thing there.
Yeah.
Find an answer to my gigantificationism when I
What?
uncovered an article about the common goldfish.
With more space, the fish will grow double or quadruple its size.
I was intended for larger things. Figuration, I set upon my plan to make...
Oh, that's the dude from The Office. I never realized.
So this was all shot in Alabama?
Yeah. There was something similar to Edward Scissorhands about this. Those are some short shorts.
Yeah.
Oh, Beethoven.
Aww.
I was the biggest thing Ashton had ever seen, until one day...
He ate my dog.
Oh no.
You can't reason with him.
He's a monster.
He's a monster.
You gonna do it?
That creature could crush you without trying.
Oh, trust me, he'll have to try.
Oh, I love that line.
Hello?
Go away. I said go away.
What?
I knew the giant couldn't kill me.
My arms are a little stringy, but there's some good eating in my legs. You could just get it over with quick, because I'm not much for pain, really. I can't go back. I'm a human sacrifice.
I don't want to eat you. I don't want to eat anybody.
Did you ever think that maybe you're not too big? But maybe this town is just too small? Now, you can eat a lot, can't you?
I can.
So why are you wasting your time in a small town? What's your name, giant?
Carl.
Carl.
Mine's Edward. I want to leave with you. So what do you say?
Okay.
Okay.
This guy, he passed away about 2 years after this movie came out.
It was really like a giant?
Yeah, he was a really, really big dude. He was like a size 29 shoe. That's real sad, though. He was like 30.
Take with
Right
you
here.
this key to the city.
They are doing some trickery to make him look even bigger than he is, but he's
Right.
still like a huge guy.
But there was...
So like the golden boy and the outcast.
Yeah.
He said that the biggest fish in the river gets that way by never being caught. There were 2 roads out of Ashton, a new one which was paved and an older one that wasn't. This seemed as good a time as any to find out what lay down that old road. You go the other way, I'll cut through here and I'll meet you on the far side.
You're just trying to run away, aren't you?
You can take my pack.
Jeez. Like, I think that was like a little boy from behind there where he hands it up, you know? Oh.
There comes a point when a reasonable man will swallow his pride, and I was never a reasonable man. The more difficult something became, the more rewarding it was in the end.
Ew. Oh, the juicy one.
Here you are right here, Edward Bloom. We weren't expecting you yet.
You must have taken a shortcut.
It almost killed me.
life will do that to you.
What is this place?
The town of Spectre. Best kept secret in Alabama.
I have to meet somebody, and I'm already running late.
Now, son, I already...
Giving like Pleasantville vibes.
Yeah. Steve Buscemi.
It truly is.
Apple pie with some like vanilla bean ice cream.
Oh, Jenny! I need those.
There is no softer ground than town. I've been working on this poem for 12 years.
It's only 3 lines long.
This is why you should never
Show a work in progress. Oh boy.
I got him!
It's not a woman. It's a fish.
It's a fish.
That's her.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh, darn.
Bet you Quentin Tarantino loved this movie.
Roses are red, violets are blue. I love Spectre.
He's just kidding. This is so weird.
I have to leave.
But no one's ever left.
Now, I'm sorry, but, well, goodbye.
Promise me you'll come back.
Someday, when I'm really supposed to. This isn't how I die.
What happened to your shoes?
They kind of got ahead of me.
Hello.
Whoa.
When the crow came back to me in a dream and said, your daddy's gonna die, I finally told my father. He kept looking around, waiting for something to drop on his head. The crow didn't say how it was going to happen. He looked terrible, like he was waiting for the axe to fall all day. The milkman dropped dead on the porch. See, my mother was banging the milkman.
Oh my gosh.
So this is a tall tale.
Not a short one.
Jeez.
Oh no.
Look at that, Boston. These dogs earning their keep. I love Danny DeVito. Oh, Deep Roy. He was in. He was the Oompa Loompa in Tim Burton's Charlie and Chocolate Factory.
When you work beside him, he blocked out the daylight. He could crush your head between his toes. But he won't do it. No. No.
But he won't do it.
Colossus!
Paul met his destiny, and I met mine, almost. When you meet the love of your life, time stops. Once time starts again, it moves extra fast to catch up.
What's your name?
Carl.
Carl.
Carl. Have you ever heard the term involuntary servitude?
Jeez.
Great.
Great.
Oh my gosh.
Your friend just made himself a star.
Oh, that's great. I just saw the woman I'm going to marry.
Aw.
I know it. But I lost her.
Well, most men have to get married before they lose their wives. Blue dress?
Yeah.
I know her uncle. Forget it, kid. Don't waste your time. She's out of your league. You don't have a plan. You don't have a job. You were a big fish in a small pond, but this here is the ocean. Go back to Puddleville. You'll be happy there.
Go back to Puddleville.
I would have a job if you gave me one. I have more determination than any man you're likely to meet.
I don't do charity. Come on, big boy.
And you won't have to pay me. Just have to tell me who she is.
Every month you work for me, I'll tell you one thing about her.
He's really out for himself.
Yeah, he really is. It's gonna come with lodging and food.
Oh, wow. All right.
Jeez.
What in the world?
Callaway, sir.
Her favorite flowers are daffodils.
Daffodils.
Oh.
That was actually unscripted, and they zoomed out on the camera to get the elephant pooping.
College. She's going to college.
He was like in the line of fire too.
Yeah.
I love that.
She likes music.
I learned a lot about the woman I was going to marry. I couldn't wait any longer.
Mr. Callaway?
What?
So weird.
No, wait.
One of the weirdest scenes.
Yeah.
I discovered that most things you consider evil or wicked are simply lonely.
Oh, Danny DeVito.
Didn't kill anything, did I?
A few rabbits.
What?
But I
He
think
was a werewolf,
I didn't realize it was a werewolf.
but he had like the silver bullet in the gun.
You could get any girl.
There's only one I want.
Her name is Sandra Templeton. Good luck, kid.
Thank you, sir.
Oh gosh.
All right.
I like how that's somebody's like actual foot.
Yeah.
So weird. Buddy Holly. I love Buddy Holly.
You don't know me, but my name is Edward Bloom, and I love you. And I've been shot,
3 years.
stabbed, and trampled a few times. I broke my ribs twice.
Well, points for putting himself out there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm the luckiest person you're gonna find today.
No, I'm sorry. I'm engaged to be married.
What?
But you're wrong. I do know you, at least by reputation. See, I'm actually engaged to a boy from Ashton.
Congratulations. I'm sorry to have bothered you.
Fate has a cruel way of circling around on you.
I love you and I will marry you.
Even stronger. It will.
Aw.
Jeez.
Aw.
Jeez.
They're your favorite flower.
Your favorite flower.
You don't even know me.
I'll have the rest of my life to find out.
Aw. Oh, jeez.
Oh.
It's Dawn.
He's like always getting cheated on or like chosen second and everything.
Mine.
I wasn't aware that she belonged to anyone.
Oh, get out of here with that.
Oh.
While I took the beating of a lifetime, all the physical activity had worsened a congenital valve defect.
Dawn! I will never marry you.
What?
He's almost a stranger and I prefer him to you.
Whoa.
Only the groom had changed.
Nice.
The rest of my body belonged to the U.S. government.
Sandra can't catch a break.
I took every hazardous assignment I could find for getting my time down to less than a year.
I'm all shook up.
Oh. Okay.
That's so corny.
Over the next hour, I described my love for Sandra K. Templeton. This love was my salvation. It was destined to be.
Bob Hope?
Idea.
Bob Hope?
Half
Nice little house.
the world. No surprise that the army believed I was dead.
Oh no.
Just gonna drive off? Okay.
Oh.
You never told me how your parents met. The circus, the war. You never told me any of that.
Most of it never happened.
But it's romantic.
When I was growing up, he was gone more than he was there. The reason that he tells you stories is because he can't stand this boring place.
But it's not true.
He's never told me a single true thing. You know about icebergs, Dad?
I saw an iceberg once. They were hauling down to Texas for drinking water, frozen inside.
That would get exhausting after a while.
You only see 10%. The other 90% is below the water where you can't see it.
Oh, you only seen down to my nose, my chin, I tell stories.
You tell lies, Dad. You felt like a fool to have trusted you. You're like Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny combined.
You think I'm fake?
I'm about to have a kid of my own, and it would kill me if he went through his whole life never understanding me.
I've been nothing but myself since the day I was born.
Ugh.
It was during the war.
That really happened?
Not everything your father says is a complete fabrication.
I took a job as a traveling salesman.
They were gonna put like a pair of scissors on the hand, but they were like, that's way too close to Edward Scissorhands.
Edward? Edward Bloom. When you left Spectre, it opened my eyes. Every day a new adventure. That's my motto.
And what are you doing now?
I'm robbing this place.
What?
Would you mind grabbing that?
If this isn't the type of thing that would happen to me.
God. My associate here.
My associate here.
Oh, no.
You're completely bankrupt. Don't tell anybody.
It's a nice car.
It's gotta be close to $400 here. And that's just from the drawers. This is it? Edward, it's got your deposit slip on it.
I just didn't want you leaving empty-handed.
I should go to Wall Street.
When Northern made his first $1 million, he sent me a check for $10,000. It was enough to buy my wife a proper house.
Aw.
I was drying out.
I don't think I'll ever dry out.
No, I think he was also in The Ring.
Okay, that's what you're thinking of with him in the bathtub. And the
Well, that's how he killed himself in The Ring.
Oh, yeah. That's my wife.
So there's actually a Spectre, Alabama?
Yeah, that's where we're going. But no, it's not actually called Spectre. It's just the name of the town.
So there is no Spectre.
No real Spectre, right?
Okay.
Are you Jennifer Hill?
A lot of cats around here.
Everyone in town knew him.
Were you having an affair?
Whoa.
Wow. I was expecting to dance around this for another half hour. Why didn't you just ask Eddie?
Because he's dying.
Eddie.
Your father never meant to end up here. Yet he did. First time he was early. Second time he was late. Those days, your father was working for himself.
Jeez.
Fate has a way of circling back on a man. A man sees things differently at different times in his life. And so Edward Bloom decided to buy the town.
50,000.
They only had Edward's words to describe it. He sold them on the dream. The people were not asked to leave or pay rent or anything. His trust had purchased the entire town, with one exception. You must be Edward Bloom.
You see, in order for the town to be preserved, the trust must own it in its entirety. Nothing will change except the name on the deed. You have my word.
I'll be here, and you'll come go as...
Is that the little girl?
...or another.
Who's to say?
Helping people makes me happy.
I'm not convinced you should be happy.
Have I offended you?
No. I was just expecting you sooner.
Yeah, it was a little girl.
You're Beeman's daughter.
Please, just go.
Well, that's cute.
Yeah, it's nice.
Well,
You could leave it there.
Oh boy.
No, no, no. Ugh.
Helena.
No.
No.
Atta boy.
And from the first day I saw her till the day I die, she's the only one.
Lucky girl.
Oof, that was a close one.
Not sure about the hat. Edward.
Edward Bloom left and never returned to the town he'd saved.
Looking good.
Looks nice.
As for the girl, the common belief is that she'd become a witch.
Well, logically, you couldn't be the witch because she was old.
It's logical if you think like your father. There's only two women, your mother and everyone else. I was in love with a man who could never love me back.
Mom? Josephine?
Your father had a stroke. He's upstairs with your mum and Dr. Bennett.
Glad to see you not trying to have a heartfelt talk. One of my greatest annoyances.
Well, we have an advantage. My father and I never talk.
Seems to be kind of a cruel thing to say to somebody. One of my greatest annoyances when people try to talk to people who can't hear them.
The rail story. He ever tell you that?
No.
You were born a week early. Your father was sorry not to be there. Suppose if I had to choose between the true version, I might choose the fancy version.
I kind of liked your version. What can I do? What can I get? Can I get? You want some water?
How it happened.
You mean what you saw in the eye? I don't know that story, Dad. You never told me that one. Tell me how it starts.
Like this.
And I wake up, and I see you. Somehow you're better.
Let's get out of here.
And I say,
Hurry up, we haven't much time. Once we get off this floor, we're in the clear.
Stop them!
we're flying down the hall, and orderly after orderly is chasing us. Come flying out the front over the curb.
Oh my gosh.
Jeez.
Is there? You hardly weigh anything. I can't explain it.
Putting Hero in the car.
Leave it, we don't need it.
Where are we going?
The river.
As we get close to the river, we see that everybody is already there. It's unbelievable.
Story of my life.
There's not a sad face to be found. Everyone is just so glad to see you.
Farewell, adieu.
Yeah.
My girl in the river.
You become what you always were. A very big fish.
Exactly.
Mom.
Oh.
Have you ever heard a joke so many times you've forgotten why it's funny? And then you hear it again and suddenly it's new.
That was 15 feet tall. No way. Dad, that's frightening me.
Pretty much.
A man tells his stories so many times that he becomes the stories. They live on after him.
Big Fish. It's a fish merch down the down below.
Overall, Big Fish was a very interesting film. Here we are at the spot where Edward comes into the town of Spectre and makes for a great scene. I thought Big Fish was one of those movies where time-wise it wasn't very long, but you're covering somebody's entire life, and so it felt like a very depressing movie. But I do love those types of movies where you're delving into their life and their trials and tribulations and all the little details in between. So it was a lengthy movie for me, but it was very different, very creative. First and foremost, I loved the music choices in this movie. Definitely stuck out to me, so I had to comment on that. So one of the things that stuck out to me was how each character within the movie really had an equal and very important part of the story. I don't feel like any character really overshadowed another, and so I loved that. I loved that his wife and the witch kind of had their own spotlight and important part of Edward's story. I also love how the movie really is about two love stories. Edward and Sandra, which was such a sweet and emotional relationship. And then we also had William and his father, who it was really, really rocky pretty much throughout the film. So you have two very different emotions going on, and I love that. So for me, the overall message of this movie is the fish metaphor, that once you get past those limits of being uncomfortable, of the unknown, there's a potential for growth. The overall message was just getting out of your comfort zone and going to new territory. The film did a really good job of identifying, Edward's perception of his life versus William's expectation of his father's involvement in his life and all the events that happened within it. I also love the irony that William is a writer and his father is pretty much a storyteller. The fact that William was so set on believing that he didn't know his father, but the stories that his father told him actually did have truth to it. And so the stories themselves were clearly something that Edward passed on to his son. And so obviously, William knew his father more than he actually believed. Edward said something that just resonated with me, and that was, the more difficult something is, the more rewarding it is in the end. And I thought that that was kind of something that really defined the entire movie, and I absolutely loved it.
I'm glad that you enjoyed this movie overall. I really love it. It's a very undervalued, underappreciated Tim Burton film, and in a lot of ways I feel like it's a very toned down Tim Burton film from some of his regular kind of out there stuff. Like, it's more palatable for a regular audience member. There's so much of this story that I relate to. There's a quote from William where he talks about his relationship with his father, and he says, "My father and I were like strangers who knew each other very, very well." And there have been points in my life with my own father that I felt very similar to that sentiment. And even though there's like that scene where he's trying to get him to drink his Inshore and the dad doesn't want to take it, and he's like, "Just drink half, I'll tell him you drank the whole thing, it's win-win for everyone." That's very similar to how my relationship with my dad was. There's also the Edward Bloom's ambition. That's something that I also relate to a lot. Jen will tell you, I sometimes bite off more than I can chew. I dream pretty big, and the things that I want to do are pretty adventurous, and sometimes they don't always pan out, but I relate to at least that spirit of ambition. I love the pursuit that he has for Sandra, like where he's working in the circus for 3 years just to find out little tidbits and little details about her. I can relate to that. It's how I feel about my wife. I would love to, if that's what it took to marry my wife, that's absolutely what I would do. And then just the whole relationship even after that, and how loyal he is to Sandra, even in the midst of the little girl that was here at Spectre when she was older. And she tries to kiss him and he's like, "Nah, pass fam. I'm loyal to Sandy T, I totally get that. And his love for her was very, very genuine and pure. And you mentioned a little bit about the storytelling and some of Will's frustration, that he just couldn't just get the blanket facts, blanket truth. And there would be an element of frustration, I think, that I would have too. The movie kind of paints it as like a, come on, don't you want to know the elaborate story of when your father was trying to get his wife to marry him, and he used the ring and he used this analogy of it being like a big fish. I could appreciate that, but there's also the aspect of, okay, but like what really happened though? You know, I think that's what Will was getting at. And then after hearing the same story over and over and over again, I could see it wearing on you over 30 years of your life. There's a part at the end though where the doctor comes in and he talks to Will and he's like, if I had to choose between the elaborate story of the ring and the fish versus, you know, you were born and your dad wasn't even here for it, I might choose the more elaborate version. And I kind of get that too. I think that there's an aspect of both working in conjunction and being complementary of each other, of like talking about how important it is and using hyperbole to talk about like the birth of your son and what a glorious thing it is, even if the actual reality of it was a little bit more drab and maybe not as great, but because it's like a reflection of the internal feeling that you're having when your son's being born. I love that. So Jen, the real question here, the creme de la creme, what would you rate Big Fish?
I thought Big Fish was very creative, very emotional, a different type of feel to it. I agree for Tim Burton. I love how there was multiple things going on at once, you know, two big things, the love stories, and then we have kind of this like Twilight Zone, which is Spectre, but it kind of gave Pleasantville vibes. I think it's something that everyone can relate to on some level, whether that be the love story with Sandra, or the internal problems that he had with his father, or just wanting to get out of your comfort zone, you know, and do things that you're just unsure about, you know, you want to explore. So there's a lot of things going on, a lot of different lessons I feel like within this movie, and I feel like those are the best type of movies. I'm gonna go with an 8.5.
I'm so glad that you enjoyed it. For me, this movie is an easy 9 out of 10. This is a wonderful film. Thank you all so much for joining us as we watched it, and we're gonna go explore a little Spectre. So hopefully you stick around, and I don't know how much longer of the video is left, but stick around for that length because we're gonna go have some fun. So this is the entrance into Spectre that we see Ewan McGregor come out of. And in the actual movie, they add all the visual effects of like the dark woods, but really that's just an opening back here. And this is actually still a piece of the set. It's made out of a hard styrofoam. Over time, over 20 years of all the weather and stuff here, you can see it chipping out and people messing around with it like I am. As people have come over time, they continue to throw their shoes up on this. I think that that's really, really fun. It's a fun, like, continuing tradition. And I actually brought a pair of my own shoes from my closet. I actually only have one pair of shoes that I use, but I found I did have like another really old pair. I brought those up. I'm gonna chuck those up on the line there too.
So I was promised goats.
I didn't promise goats.
There's a sign that says
I said there was likely goats here.
But there's not one goat in sight. We smelled them.
Yeah, we can definitely smell the goats, that's for sure.
But I don't know where they are. I wanted to feed them. We even like looked up like what goats eat. I wanted to see the goats, but I don't see any goats.
I love seeing the movie set structures all throughout here because they are just structures. I'll show you. They have some gate or some wire that you're not supposed to go into because these are not structurally sound. But I can peek in. They're literally just a front for the camera. There you can see inside there's just nothing. It is creepy. You can see on the inside here, it's literally just to hold up the frame.
It's so eerie here.
There's a couple people just sort of scattered around, but it's really cool that we have pretty much the whole place to ourselves. There are a couple buildings that are now missing. There's a couple that were there. We can actually see the structure of where a previous building was here and I guess got demolished at some point. But there's that scene where the little girl runs out with Edward Bloom's shoes, and that's where it would have been. The lake is around here too, like where William Bloom put old Edward Bloom into the water and he turns into the fish and swims away at the end. They actually had to build a track in the water and somebody actually got hurt while they were doing that because the waves are actually moving. That wasn't CG. The parts of the fish were, but the water moving was all practical. So that filming spot is around here somewhere, I'm not quite sure, as well as Jenny's house.
So it said on the sign that Jenny's house actually flooded, and I think it was removed, but they said it was still marked. So I'm not sure where that is either.
We are fighting against time here because there's supposed to be a storm that's rolling in. It does look and feel kind of creepy because right now there's no wind and it's extremely overcast. And so this would also make for like a good horror movie.
Yeah, it would.
I think.
It reminds me of Sleepy Hollow. The way that the town is set up, like a miniature version of Sleepy Hollow. Very eerie.
This is the door of the church. I just tried opening it, but it is blocked off. I was able to see through the crack. Same thing, it's just a prefab, nothing inside of it.
So all the structures here, were they built specifically for the set?
Yes. Jen was talking about how this area right now feels very Texas Chainsaw Massacre-y, and we were talking about how the lighting and everything really changes the tone that you want in a film. Like, because when we think Spectre, it's like so light and colorful and bright and positive, eerily positive, versus like now where if we just add like some creepy music, this would be a pretty scary place to be.
Everything from like the trees to obviously the condition of the houses, and the fact that it's overcast today just adds to that very dark feeling.
These are my old Target, my old nice Target shoes. They've been sitting in my closet forever. I gotta join the group. I'm gonna try and get them over here. Can't wait to do this and fail on camera. Be a part of, this is why everyone goes for the middle, because that's the easy part. I'm trying to go for the side. I wanna stand, like that guy, he knows what's up. That's the shoe that stands out. But I think that's what I have to do. I have to get it spinning. This is actually harder than it looks. I'm gonna end up just getting like a ladder and just setting them gently on the line. This is the one.
Woo!
Oh, it's not where I wanted them to be.
They're up there, that's all
But
that
they're
matters.
there. They'll probably fall off. Yeah, I can see how very loosely they're on, they're on there. My shoes are now officially part of the town of Spectre. How cool is that? We were about to head out without seeing the goats because Jen really wanted to see them. That was gonna be one of the highlights of the trip for her. And luckily we kind of circled some of the property and found them over yonder. So we're gonna go see the goats.
This is what I came here for. They're so cute. I wish we would have brought food. Come here. Come here. Hi. Oh, hi. I wish I had food for them. Hi, baby. Hi. Oh, she likes the grass. Here. There you go. I'll pick it for you. We should have brought more food for them, baby.
Oh, there's food everywhere for them, but they're good.
I don't want that rubbish. Oh, good girl. Good girl.
Whoa, it is time to go.
Let's hurry. Okay, so that's our cue. We just heard thunder, but we hope that you enjoyed the video. We hope that you enjoyed our visit to Spectre. It was fabulous. And make sure you guys subscribe. It helps out the channel. And we'll see you next time. Bye.